Armored Core lore, Crest Industries. Viewed as the more human than its counterpart Mirage by some Ravens, however, others would say the Crest Industries simply was more cautious in their approaches. However, at the end of the day, Crest would always return to the ways of corporations, the spilling of blood, and the need to have a flow of cash if they wished to remain in power. History. Like the Mirage Corporation, Crest Industries' roots seem to have been before the year EDO 153, where we learn from the book Armored Core 10 Complete Works that by this time Crest, like Mirage, had begun developing prototype muscle tracers. Thanks to the aid of the controller, this once bioengineering company rose to match the power of Mirage. However, only balanced this way thanks to the controller, and Crest seemed to understand this. For as time went on, it was in the year EDO 172 when Crest and Mirage now made Armored Core parts, and the controller started to fail in its role as a guide for humanity. A life support failure in one of Laird's sectors led to the loss of thousands of lives. However, Crest simply kept quiet about it. They did not question why it happened, and it is safe to assume Crest made sure to gag anyone who tried to question what happened. To them, the controller was their savior. It had created them, made them what they are, and so it could never be wrong. A devoted servant to a machine, this idea would be shown to the Raven of Armored Core 3 and their time. With the very first mission the Raven could take from Crest would be remove rebelling workers from a factory. In the mission brief, it explains that a group of employees unhappy about the decision to shut down the Zyden weapons factory have taken over control. They've modified the factory's MTs for combat and are using them to keep the demolition team at bay, remove them from the premises immediately. Closing the factory was a difficult decision, but had to be done in order to accommodate the need for more housing. Every day we are delayed is costing huge sums of money. Yet it's only after killing all these workers that the Raven would get an email from Crest explaining it was not them who wanted this, but the controller. This, however, would not be the only time Crest would try to cover for the controller, as later on Sector 513 would become a mission location for the Raven, where they would fight off some unknown enemy forces. However, they added that the place had suffered heavy earthquake damages. It's only after the Raven learns from Crest this sector did not, in fact, have anything of the sort happen there. The real reason it was closed is because of terrorist threats to the way the controller operated. However, if anyone asks the Raven, the reason is due to earthquake damage, and that is all they need to say. It seems Crest would go above and beyond to protect the AI they believe was still guiding them, even taking the fight to the Union, who, as we know, was telling the truth. The controller was failing, and so far all Crest had managed to do was try to turn a blind eye to it. However, soon Crest would see firsthand the controller's state, as their own lab, Rugen, is attacked by unknown forces, including an AI-controlled armored core. Crest, of course, points the finger at Mirage, being the attacker. However, this again was them trying to cover their eyes to the truth. As time went on, they went to war with Union, finding their headquarters and launching an attack only for an unknown force to attack both sides. It overpowered both, forcing a retreat of both sides, as finally this was the controller's last move, an attack which would see all its forces attack corporation areas and even the life systems of Laird. This would include the headquarters of Crest, who stood no chance against the overwhelming force. Even with the Raven of Armored Core 3's help, Crest headquarters would fall to the controller forces, as their final email talks about how they've come to accept this fate, and how they knew long ago that the controller is malfunctioning. However, humanity cannot live without order, even if that order is an illusion. However, while this seems like the end for Crest Industries, it was not. For after the controller's demise, Crest would have the chance to recover. It had lost the guiding light in the darkness of the underground cities. As such, as best said in Mirage's email, they tried to fill the void the controller left. In truth, Crest at the time of the Silent Line incident is splitting itself up to launch attacks on Mirage bases and transports, even trying to take land from Kisaragi above ground, while also trying to wrestle Mirage out of Laird. They also have their focus very much on gaining access to the Silent Line region while defending what they have built. Due to one base being built so close to the region, it suffers attacks from a satellite weapon, and along with all this, they are trying to make AI-controlled bases and units. The Big Red Corporation is trying its best to keep up with Mirage. However, the Blue Giant always seems one step ahead, as while Crest is doing all this, their rival hires the Raven of Silent Line to stop a Crest-hired armored core from taking data from the controller and instead bring it to them. The Raven does this, taking out 3 Ravens along the way, allowing Mirage to finally learn more about the satellite raining down death on Earth. It's learning this that Crest would launch a large offensive force at Mirage headquarters, believing the corporation would use this weapon against them. This, however, with the Raven of Silent Line's help, would end with Crest losing heavily, forcing them back and allowing Mirage to finally get onto the satellite, only to set all the AI in the world into a frenzy. Crest, like all the corporations, would have bought into the Artificial Intelligence Office AI products. Now the AI was turning on them, resulting in Crest having to call in Ravens to destroy the AI running Fortress NK-432. It's only after great losses on all sides that the three corporations would then focus on sorting this out, as the three work with Global Cortex seal passage into the Silent Line region before discovery of a second layered. This leads to the Raven of Silent Line being sent in to destroy the AI within it and finally allow the corporations to expand more. 55 years later, and Crest is taking a back seat in the current events between Mirage and Navis over a new resource found by this new corporation. In truth, for a lot of the event of Nexus, Crest simply watches, taking time to hire the Raven of Nexus to test out their new MTs, which later would be named the CRMT-98G, and doing business with Navis through selling them MTs and even hiring out the number one Raven, Shinobi, to protect the Navis city of Payload when a Mirage force tries to attack it. However, only moving forces about in an MT factory they made with Navis, the time for action came from Crest when it saw Navis was not going to win. In fact, it seems all along Crest had only been helping Navis to gauge their strength, as with Mirage forces so spread out trying to take out Navis, Crest attacks the very undermanned frontline base of Mirage with their new MTs and an in-house Raven named Agria. This, however, would be stopped by the Raven of Nexus, making Crest suffer heavy losses, yet the big red corporation was not done yet, as with this open war between corporations, it would betray Navis by taking over Payload City before even trying to attack the fleeing citizens of the city under the idea of trying to take out key figures within the Navis corporation. The cost of all this, however, starts to pile up for Crest, and it is not long after that suddenly Crest headquarters ordered the withdrawal from Navis territory, as they had come under financial strain thanks to hiring out Ravens and the loss of profit from armored core parts. However, their regional commanders thought otherwise, as they refused the order and instead insist they can beat back Mirage. This causes internal fighting, and as such more money is spent by the headquarters to put down this rebelling force, including Shinobi, with the help of the Raven of Nexus. It's the final curtain call for Crest, and with its rebelling forces put down and a large list of losses including Ravens, MTs, as well as armored cores, the Red Corporation retreats, leaving Mirage to finally be able to focus on Navis. However, while it would fall back, Crest would not escape the unknown weapons that the Raven of Nexus tries to stop deep within the mine, where the new resource is said to be. In truth, this new resource would bring ruin to the world and put Crest into a critical state, as these unknown red weapons rained down, taking out anything they hit for 6 months. That by the end, Crest, like Mirage, had no choice but to join together. Foes for years, the two, along with Kisaragi, would form the alliance in an effort not to fade from history. Products. Like Mirage, Crest Industries' long history has allowed the corporation to produce a wide range of products from MTs, transports, and armored core parts. It is best to take the words out of Crest's email to describe their own products. We take pride in providing high-quality products with exceptional cost-to-performance ratios. Most importantly, though, we pride ourselves on the survival rate of those who use our products. Quite the sales pitch. However, to move on to some examples, we have armored core parts like the CHD Sky Eye AC head part, the CR-C75U2 core part, the CRWA-69MG machine gun weapon arms, and the CLB solid reverse joint legs. In total, Crest Industries' armored core parts list, including FCSs, generators, inside parts, extensions, and optional parts, will all add up to a total of 174. Armored core weapons are also key products of Crest Industries. Some of these include the CWC GNL-15 back grenade launcher and the CWG SRF-80R rapid-fire sniper rifle. The total number of weapons, including back, right-handed, and left-handed weapons from Crest, is 83. Along with this, we also know Crest produced MTs, like the previously mentioned CRMT-98G, the GRMT-83RS, and the GRMT-77M. We also know Crest produced their own bomber plane, the CR-82A. Finally, this is all we know for now about Crest Industries. The corporation, always in second place to Mirage, and yet one many Ravens seem to like. This ends the report on Crest Industries.
お手柔らかにな。
I'm ready.